Yeah, we're What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconerizonechannel Zone for a late live. Because we all know why. I think we saw something special, weird, whatever you want to call it, today. I don't know what time it is for everyone, but with me today, no Julian, he bottled it again. So it's Davide and Dash. How are you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good, ready to give everyone some double D action right now.
Double D. Oh, yeah. A little bit of A in the middle.
Yeah, we sound like the most dangerous front three in Europe right now, the DAD.
It sounded like something completely else, but whatever. What do we want to talk about? Are we talking about the Real Madrid game for a minute? Because
sure,
we can.
Let's be honest. Does anyone know what style Real Madrid play? It's just vibes, black magic, DNA. I don't know what it is, but it's unbelievable. It's
what Allegri hopes he can be. Just zero game plan, Champions League final.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's honestly, and you think about it, it's literally prime Ancelotti. Like if you think about it, because it's like,
yeah,
he doesn't have a unique style that he's like a firm foundation on it. Where Ancelotti's like, hey, I have this and this, I'm gonna stick it together. Because like I remember when he beat he beat Liverpool with Napoli.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things where I'm like, I think it's just the Champions League and Ancelotti just finds like a different gear and just makes it work. But I also think that Guardiola kind of gave him an in because we saw it yesterday with Liverpool and Villarreal. I don't know why Premier League teams play not to win or they play not to lose per se. That the old contained style, even though they're hyper offensive. So like you look at it, and it's like they play not to lose, but then all of a sudden you get hit with 2 quick goals and then they're just kind of like, well, what do we do? Like we didn't think we'd get this far.
I agree. Let's be honest, they should have been out of the tie in the first half away to City. They only have themselves to blame. He took off Mahrez and Kevin. I have still no idea why. Were they injured?
No. So they were fine. He just did. So what he did was he tried to do a tactical substitution by putting in a little bit more of a defensive midfielder.
I will say this: don't do it because you can. That's not your team. That's not your style. I'm sorry. You can, and he overthinks things. Like he overthought the Champions League final against Chelsea. He overthought the Lyon game. He put Sterling in a weird position in that game. Like it was a mess. He messed it up.
This is why nobody should be surprised right now because of exactly that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is when Kyle Walker came out and he pulled Cancelo over to the right to cover Vinicius, I was like, watch, they're going to concede 2 goals on the left side now. And that's literally where both of them came in from.
It's weird.
I just think it's amazing. I love watching Man City lose when they should have won. There's just something charming about it.
They're the few fans they have, they're very cocky. They are super cocky, which like to a certain degree I get. You have the money, you have the players, the style of play, but you don't have the history. And at the end of the day, people will talk about it until you win it. That's what people are going to talk about it. And again, this is a bottle job, like a big one in my opinion. Like there should be no way that Real Madrid we're going to the final today. Like you should have won that tie easily. And somehow he messed it up again.
I just, I hope someone is able to get a picture of Ancelotti's like reaction to the tying goal and just meme it forever. It's like he's just like this. He's like,
I don't
like.
I don't like him, Ancelotti. I hate him, but he does his thing. So it is what it is. Like you cannot say anything about it because last year, like Julian texted me before we went live, he was just collecting the money at Everton, 10 million euros for doing absolutely nothing. He won the league, won Super Cup, he's in the Champions League final the year after. And nobody has a clue how. Like nobody. But he made it. he made it. So credit to him.
It's honestly, he's one of those coaches that like he doesn't have a style or a way of playing. He just takes what he has and just goes with it. He's like Allegri, but with just better teams per se. Because like even if you look at the Milan team that he ran from, I believe it was like after us, he got sacked by us until like 2008 until he left for Chelsea. Like that was a juggernaut. All he had to do was just pick his starting lineup and just say, hey, you guys do your thing. I think he's like a great man manager, but I don't think of him as a great tactician per se. Because like even when he went to Chelsea and that was a juggernaut squad that was brought in by Abramovich too. So it's like that was a really good squad. And he would have won the Champions League with Chelsea too if John Terry didn't slip. So it's that there.
But we've talked, maybe it was you, Dash, that brought up the past couple nights in terms of not being so much tactician, but a man manager. That is a tactic. It's decentralized command. You just let your men, just treat your men well. They do the rest. Hands off. I mean, if that is your tactic and it works, which it clearly did, man, that's the best tactic out there. Then let's go with it. I don't care if it doesn't make any sense.
No, I get you. Yeah, unfortunately, it just won't work with us right now.
Maybe not good enough of a man manager. Maybe he's not quite there. Who knows?
No, definitely.
Yeah. We'll move on from that because it's Fullback channel and we go back to the sad things now.
Back to Juventus. Yes. Oh, come on. We're really not quickly, sad, are we?
Yeah. No. After watching that, I feel just sad. But it is what it is.
No, I'm ecstatic. I just won $25 off my buddy, so
you're
good to go.
To watch us play a meaningless game against Gen on a Friday.
Yes, I was. Absolutely, I was.
Yeah, I have been watching film on Genoa just to see if I could like analyze the way that they play. So even though it's kind of like a yawn fest, but it is what it is.
I'm gonna love it. I'll be home from work. Be Friday night. I'll have either a beer or a rum in my hand, and I'll be watching a football match. I mean, why would I not be excited?
I can't wait to
give you a list of reasons. But it is what it is. Really quickly, because I don't think anyone watched on the 23 play. I watched last 20 minutes because I was not back in time. They won, so they're in the next round for the first time in that round. The 20 minutes I watched, let's say 5 minutes, the ball was in play. It was horrendous. It was bad, so I cannot talk about it. It was bad. But I can only say in those 20 minutes, the Winter is too good for that league because he's too. Like you can see it, like even in 20 minutes, even not just like previous games, he's composed, like he's calm. He knows where to go with the ball. Like he's just too good, so he will leave the under 23s. And I think if the club says you're not gonna make it to the first team in the coming years, I think he will push for a definite move because he has offers from Ajax, Belgium teams, Bruges. He will leave because he's too good, And we will go into the first piece of news. Oh no, I didn't text you that news, but it's about Gatti. That was news today. Romeo said that him staying at the club is very likely. Like he will get a shot. So based on that, I think the Winter is gone. But I will ask you this: what do you make of that news? Say Chiellini out, Gatti in.
Yeah, you go ahead, David.
I mean, we know it's coming. We know Chiellini is going out. Gatti in. I'm confident in the fact that we have De Ligt, absolutely. Bonucci definitely has another year in him. It's the depth. Do we have the appropriate depth? And that's really what's been hurting us, especially defensively, especially on the wings, like the left back, right back position. If now it travels into our center back position, where we don't have that depth, so our whole back line is like that in that state, that's a huge issue. That being said, they threw money down on Gatti in January. Is there something about this guy that we just don't know? Is he a wild card? So I'm very up in the air. I'm not sure at all, really, at this point. I have to see more.
Yeah, kind of to build off on that. So when we're looking at players that come in next year, so I kind of mentioned a couple of days is how we have that margin for error. And I think at the center back position, we do have that margin for error for a little bit just because we have De Ligt, Bonucci, and I'll throw in Rugani on there because he's had some good spells this year. So it gives Gatti essentially room to grow per se. So it's not like, he gets put in first game, absolutely bottles it, and then next thing later gets crucified by the fans and never sees the field or the light of day again. So I think it's easier for him to easily transition into it versus, like, for example, I got to give props to De Ligt, dude, because, like, I remember Chiellini tore his ACL, next thing later, everyone's like, all right, De Ligt, you're in, let's go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Gatti's going to have an easier transition into the squad just because we're not, like, super in-depth for the center back position, but he's going to be the fourth guy in the center back room. Whereas, like, with De Winter, I'm surprised because hypothetically, if we lose Sandro and Pellegrini, wouldn't De Winter fit in as a role player, as, a bench player to go in? Because Danilo can play both on the left and the right. So then you would have De Sciglio and potentially De Winter, and then you could move Cuadrado up top because you're playing a 4-3-3. So Cuadrado would be your right winger. I'm just brainstorming right now, but that would kind of be a hypothetical. So I'm a little bit surprised why the first team hasn't remotely considered phasing in De Winter.
Yeah, we need to see, but you cannot let Chiellini go and bring in Gatti, like, because you have De Ligt. Rugani ain't it, yeah, he can fill a hole here and there. Bonucci, his track record this season isn't positive. Like, it's not something to be excited about in terms of injuries. So I think you need to have the next man up into the team. Do the club believe that's Gatti? I doubt it, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, I've not watched a lot of him, so I'm just going off reports and the few minutes I saw here and there. He looks good. I'm not going to say that. But it's big shoes to fill, And do we have that time? Or does Allegri think I can build with Gatti, when the pressure is immense at the moment, The pressure is high. So we need to see. But we're being linked with the regular players, that, or the regular. Like Bremer still. And I think Nico Shiro talked about it, saying that the club is still looking at Bremer and that Gatti, like, it was basically told that he can be, like, how do you want to say it? Like a bargaining chip to get Bremer, but in fact Torino has been very pissed because he was joining Torino and the last minute Juve offered more. He joined us. Like, he was on his way to sign for Torino and he signed for us, basically. And Torino is not having that. So selling Bremer to us, I don't think that's an option. But let's see. It's still early. I think. I still think they have something up their sleeves, like, because it cannot, like, I'm just imagining it, going Barzagli, Chiellini, Bonucci, even Benatia, and then you go from De Ligt, injury-prone Bonucci, Gatti, Rugani. Like, whoa, that's a big drop-off in my opinion. But yeah, let's see. It is what it is. We need to wait. I think more names will pop up. Let's move on to the main story of the day. It's Di Maria. So Tuttosport basically said that he's waiting. He said, yeah, I want to join. So I'll comment. I'm not gonna buy it, Jeff. But, like, Di Maria is waiting. Basically, he's asking for 7 mil. I think we all knew that. Like, everyone is saying it can be done quickly. But then Giovanni Albanese spoke on Juventus and he said he was being offered by his agent Mendes and the club is just waiting at the moment, like, looking at different positions first, and then at the end they will say, yeah, we'll do Di Maria or no. So he's basically saying, I don't expect any news very soon. In my opinion, I think it's the other way around. Like, granted, I have no info. I don't know anything, So I'm not going to say Giovanni is wrong. But in my opinion, I think the club is like, what are the other options? Anthony, 50 mil. Zaniolo, 50 mil. Are they going to spend it? No. So I believe they will close that deal soon and they will focus on the midfield and all the other options where you actually need to pay money. What do you make about that?
So yeah, and I think that what they're doing is it's potentially kind of seeing if Di Maria is available. Okay, cool. So we kind of have that because we don't know what Juventus's transfer board is, who's on top of the list, who's on the bottom. I think right now what their club's doing is they're inquiring on what's out in the field and then how does it work as far as their financial plan. So if we're I'm convinced that they're probably going to eventually go for Di Maria and give him one of those like 1+1 contracts, depending on performance incentives and whatnot, whether or not he'd get renewed. Which I don't have a problem with it if we can't find anything that's a solid win on the winger department. So I think what they're doing is they're gathering that research. They're looking at the team, or they're looking at the players that they want, and they're evaluating them. And then they're like, okay, cool. So how does this fit as far as transfer scheme? Because if you go 60 million for Anthony, hypothetically, then that means you're sacrificing something in the midfield, or you have high hopes that Miretti or Fagioli or Ravella is going to fill in a role, and you're just going to try to cut money from the midfield to go for your winger. Whereas I think for sure right now the club is 100% focused on getting SMS from Lotito. So I'm a little bit skeptical to say that we're going to go and do a big splash on a winger. I think they're probably going to use a stopgap. For me, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cuadrado and Di Maria alternate starts between each other, where they split 15 to 16 games each with each other. I don't know. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned on Juve finding a way to spend big on a winger right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Perhaps they were waiting for City to ungloriously be defeated from the Champions League, so Jesus will come up again for sale.
He is for sale. We just need to stay away from it.
Linked. I predict within the next couple of days we'll see that coming up again. Yeah. So when going back to the article, anytime soon, what does that mean? Does that mean not in a couple of weeks because it's after the season? Is it July? Is it August? What are we talking about?
I think he means a late option, like, yeah, he's free, let's get it done. You know, a few weeks before the season starts, let's get it done. I think he means that.
Yeah. So it's realistically then we're talking about sometime in July.
Yeah, mid-July.
Early to mid-July. I mean, that's not unreasonable. It just seems I think fans, just with the way the season's going, and you've mentioned it so many times, we're just talking about transfers because we're not going for this Scudetto right now. This is just what we're talking about. We're more excited about next season and improving that this is just a hot topic. Yeah. But the management is not thinking that way. They're looking at all their options. They're not fans. They're businessmen.
Yeah, I agree.
They might be fans on the side, but primarily they're trying to do business for the club. And when you're that invested on the inside, you're not thinking quite as erratic and emotionally as we are, saying, oh, let's get this winger right now. I mean, they know who they're looking at. They know what their options are. But now they just got to come to the table and start making the deals. And the season's not over for anybody yet. So players don't like making deals before the season's over, especially if they're leaving the team altogether. Like, yeah, renewal, it's one thing, but let's finish the season. Let's relax. I think Di Maria overall is probably one of the primary options, and he's been linked consistently the past couple of weeks, and he makes financial sense. So, yeah, I mean, 100% I can't say that he's coming, but he's definitely up there, and let's just be patient. That's what the article says. Be patient.
Hanin makes a great point. He's saying, what are they waiting for? We also need numbers. Possibly 4 attacking players are going. That's a good point, because Bernetski's walking, Dybala's walking, Morata's not our player. Nico tweeted out before we went live, or like not before, a few hours before, saying Keane can leave and PSG are going for him. So let's forget about Keane. Just let's say he's still here with Vlahovic. Like 3 attackers are walking. So you need to replace them anyway.
But they're not gone yet.
Yeah, they're gone. Dybala's gone. Di Maria, Bernetski's
gone. Oh yeah, realistically they're
Morata's
gone. But it's the reversed psychology now. Whereas we're not going to go tell the fans and everyone, oh, these guys are gone. We're already replacing them. We still have 3 games to play.
Yeah, but in theory, we know they're gone.
In theory, but that's why it's still just news and not reality yet.
Yeah, I get that, but
we just gotta wait 2 weeks. That's all I'm saying. If after 2 weeks things aren't happening, okay, let's ask.
Then his report makes no sense. Then he was just lying. You know, that's the point. Saying, oh, we need to wait. You need 3. Like, you need at least 2 attackers, depending on position. So you cannot wait forever. Like, you need to, and he's the most easiest deal to do. Like, he's free. He wants to come, pay, and that's it. Jav is asking, what do you think about the Pulisic rumors? I've never seen those rumors, and if the rumors are there, laugh. That's all I need to say.
Yeah, I heard about those this morning. I read it this morning when I was having my espresso. But I did see the Pulisic rumors. I kind of chuckled at it because I'm like,
I've not seen it, but Ricky, thanks for the super chat. I will read that out first before it goes away. So thanks for that. He's saying Lodi will be fantastic, as left backs are hard to find. Saying hi from Melbourne. Jeez. Oh yeah, that's the official fan club you told me about, right? Thanks for watching because. Oh, it's in the morning in Melbourne, I think. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the super chat. And Lodi,
Nice.
Before we went live, I saw a report that Newcastle are going for Lodi. And I saw they're offering 25. I'm like, 25?
What?
I'm like, that's a ridiculous offer because I thought Atletico want 40. Close to that, you know? So I was confused. But I don't think we're in for Lodi. I think... And we will go into the report, basically, because... if it's that. So the next report was from, I think it was Nico Shira, right?
I think so.
I think it was Nico Shira. He said, excuse me, I'm so sick. He's saying, in recent days there have been contacts with Vincenzo Raiola, so family of Mino Raiola, saying to talk about Wijndal. There have been scouts to watch Udinese for Udoki. And he also said, I understand Allegri doesn't like Pellegrini either. No surprise, we said that. Alexandro can leave, but it's not easy to find a buyer. So it's the usual names again. It's Lodi, it's Udoki, it's Wijndal. And then I saw another report from Giovanni. I didn't tweeted that out saying the club is also looking at Molina from Udinese. It's different, but those are the options now. I'll say what I've always said. If you need to spend the money, out of all the options, I prefer Udogi because I like what I've seen. He's young. He is Italian. People think it's important, so well, he's Italian. So that's a plus, I would say. And he can improve big time, like big time. Wijndal, I like him, but I have some doubts with him. So for me, it's Udogi at the moment, but it can change. It can change. People saying Molina's a baller. 35 million, I think that's a bit much, no?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not saying he's bad, because when I watch him, it's not eye popping, but when I watch him, I'm like, you're solid, you're good. But I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it could be that solid in this day's market is 30 million because, great is 100 for some reason.
Yeah, it is inflated, the prices, it seems. But at the same time, you don't see too many of those like 50, 60 million, like really solid ones. They're either just whatever left back or they're an Alexander Arnold.
Yeah, it's honestly, that's when you think about it too. When it comes to fullbacks, either you're, Alexander Arnold or Robertson or your Alexandro. Like literally that's the scale. There is no because the thing is, it's interesting because if you look at it, like these fullbacks, they start off like promising, and either they hit up and they're really good, or they just are absolute
or you pull a Kimmich and you go to midfield and
like Kimmich just like this. How do you call him? Like a Swiss knife?
Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
Swiss
Army knife.
He plays everywhere.
He's a player. He's one of my dreams. It's not gonna happen,
Yeah,
but he's unbelievable.
So I did watch some film on Wijndal and Udogi, and just to kind of compare and contrast the play styles. So the one thing is that I like about Udogi is he's bulky, he's strong. So it's hard to boss him off the ball. Where I look at Wijndal, I'm like, he's a little bit too thin for me as a fullback. I think it might be a defensive liability because you still have to have a little bit of size on you. And both of them, so I saw a comment on there that says, I've never seen Udogie cross. I've seen Udogie cross on film, and Udogie kind of strikes me, and I don't want to give it a complete comparison, but Udogie kind of reminds me of Alphonsi Davis because he has that burst of acceleration on the edge, and then he can do a line drive ball in the middle, or he can chip it through the middle, or he can actually shoot on his own. So that was one of the things that I liked about Udogie. I did see tackles. So, like, for example, I don't like watching, the Colismo YouTube music videos of players' highlights because it just only shows you when they attack. So, yeah. So I was watching some of Udogie's slide tackles, and dude, that guy can tackle. Like, he has some very beautiful slide tackles when he's coming in. I haven't seen too many slide tackles on Wijndal. I'm a little bit. That's one of the things that kind of concerned.
He's not that type of player.
Yeah, and that kind of doesn't really fit the Juventus mold per se, where it's like we expect our defenders to do, like, for example, a Delict tackle or a Chiellini tackle. So, like, that for us is like natural because, like, even we see Danilo, he does some of those tackles sometimes. So it's like it's kind of like a Juve thing, and I think Udogie's kind of that Juventus player, that Juventus-like player, and I would hope that the board kind of goes for, or really makes an effort to go for him. Like, I'd love to hear it and be reported that, hey, Juventus are pushing hard to get Udogie. If we get outbid, we get outbid. I'd rather at least have us put in the effort for Udogie than to be like, yeah, we just kind of let him go to Milan or Inter or wherever. And it's that would just, I would just be kicking the ground on that one because, oh my goodness, I think I've watched about 2.5 hours of just highlights, and that guy is so fun to watch, man.
Yeah, you make a good point. It's that grinta, right, that we always look, especially on the defensive line. I think Wijndal you just look at because he has a larger profile. And he's a young Dutch talent, which, I mean, who doesn't love a young Dutch talent, I suppose. But yeah, for Allegri, just like the reasons I always throw out for Jorginho, whether you like it or not, it's like this is Allegri's team, which one makes sense. And I'm gonna say Udogie probably makes the most sense as well.
I agree. I actually agree. Zayn is saying I like Cucurella from Brighton. Yeah, we're looking at the same crop of players at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to buy a player from the Premier League too because they purposely inflate their prices.
It's not easy. John saying Udogie is the only one who can defend and the only one Allegri would prefer. If Trent Alexander was at Juve, he would never start. Like, Trent is not good at defending, but that's okay playing for Liverpool in that position. It's okay.
It's like, wait, who said that in the chat? I can't see him. Get it, John Cena? Nobody got the joke. Darn.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, was that a wrestling joke?
Yeah, it was a wrestling joke.
It's very late over here. And someone's keep asking for Raspadori. Same news to the sports saying we're going for him. So
I think he's more of a solid for sure that we're picking up in the summer.
Let's see. Depending on the price, like we have so many things to do basically.
There really is. Yeah, there's a lot of chores to do. It's like when your wife gives you the to-do list and you're like, where do I even start with this? I don't want to do any of it.
And yeah, that's it. Let's move on to another Giovanni quote. I will say this: he's a good journalist. Coming to transfer news, he's not even my top 5. I'm not gonna lie. Team news and all those things. Transfer news, not top 5. But he said Jorginho is at the top of Juve's list. I struggle to believe it. I really struggle.
Yeah, that one surprised me.
I struggle because that goes against everything the club is trying to do or telling us they're trying to do, in my opinion. So it's like when I read it, and I said it's not my top 5 source, but I still read it. I was like, no. Like, I cannot come out here in the summer and when we sign Jorginho and be like, wow, amazing. Like, I cannot even fake it. Justin, he doesn't need to fake it. He will be, wow. I need to fake it big time because his decline this season is kind of scary. It's actually scary. And we complain about Arthur playing it easy, sideways. What's the point of getting Jorginho? He's better than Arthur. Like, I'm not an idiot, But we've seen Moretti play.
Reason is
we've seen Moretti play.
He's Italian.
Yeah, but like, We have Miretti play 75 minutes, and we were on here like, oh my god, what happened? Like we never seen it before. Like the last, I don't know how many years. Before before very good Pjanic, we were like, oh my god, what happened? And now you bring in Jorginho, it's back to square one. But you really quickly, does anyone rate Jorginho that highly to say get him in?
Not when the other options are on the table.
Yeah,
he's the guy you bring in if you fail on the other options and you have a trash transfer market, then you settle on him. But that's like emergency mode, I would say.
Like, yeah, if you have a list A to Z, he's like maybe like W, Y, or X or Z. This year, last year I would have rated him a little bit higher just because he did play well. Like I'm not gonna clown him on that one. He did play well going into the Euros, and then for me, I think if it was whether he missed those the penalties later on in last year, I think that just kind of messed with him, and he just kind of took a nosedive in form after that. But yeah, Jorginho coming out of the Euros, yeah, I would have rated him pretty highly, but something just clicked in his head where he just completely just nosedived. It wasn't even like he's just out of it, he might regain his form. It's just like he tripped over his own laces and just fell flat on his face on the pitch.
The whole team did, other than Chiesa, because I'm completely biased, but he even took a bit of a nosedive too, right? There was some sort of magic that happened in that summer for all the pieces to line up. And hey, it was beautiful. I loved watching it. I was behind the team all the way, but it was a moment in time.
Well, yeah, it was reported on Tuttosport that Real Madrid bought the voodoo magic that Italy used in the Euro. So
they sell it. They don't buy it. They sell it. They made it. Giuseppe is asking the guys, do you think Juve board will do the same as the winter with the last minute surprise deal and signings? I'm confident they have a plan, but I cannot see us waiting for necessary deals. I don't think they're gonna be like, there can be a surprise. Like the team needs to be set because we start. The first game is the 14th of August. Serie A starts. The 12th of August is Supercoppa. So if you win the Coppa Italia, it's even earlier. I don't really care about the Supercoppa, but you know what I mean. So the team needs to be set by then. It cannot be Locatelli comes in a few days before the season starts. Ronaldo leaves during the season. Keane comes. Like it cannot be this. Like it can't. Like we've seen the fact at the start of the season when it happened. We struggled. We were shit. Let's be real. And that first few games cost us a title race. It cost us a title race. It is what it is. So I think the club should be looking at this and like, we messed it up. Because if that did, like, let's say you got Locatelli in 3 weeks earlier, Ronaldo stayed, you would have been in a title race, in my opinion. I think you would.
I think I would have won it.
Yeah, and it's not even because of Ronaldo. It's just
stability.
The rift that he left from him leaving.
So it cannot happen now. So it's a good question, but I don't like. Maybe they have a surprise transfer, but the surprise should be open like midway July or something like that.
Yeah, and yeah, to go with it, Giuseppe too. So I think what's gonna probably happen is they'll take their big targets that they want to get for sure. Like for example, the SMSs, the Di Marias, and whatnot. So like those players will happen pretty fairly early. I think the surprise is going to be like, for example, a surprise left back, a surprise minor midfield, like a minor player that they're able to pull off near deadline day. I think that's going to be what our last minute surprise is going to be per se. So I think their big targets are going to go in and they're going to go in hard right away. Like if they can get SMS, they'll get SMS. If they don't, then they'll move on to the next big midfield target. Just because of how short our off season is this year, I don't think the club is going to wait a while. I mean, even with what happened with Vlahovic, I don't think is going to happen again, because that was literally one of those things where the board was just like, all right, cool, let's just sell him right now, just because, the summer he would have gone a lot less than what he did now. So they were like, hey, let's just cash in. But with SMS, I don't see them doing a quick cash in the summer like how it happened with Vlahovic. So something like that won't happen. So we'll know about SMS fairly early in the summer if that guy's going to be a for sure go or not. The only thing I would see as like a surprise, and this is a hypothetical, is if we just, coincidentally sign Frattesi like 2 or 3 days before the transfer window closes, like a 25, 30 million euro player. I don't think that we're we're going to go big and beyond the last day of the transfer market.
I agree. I agree. Because it's a crucial transfer window for us. We need a lot. Also because we need to replace players, and we cannot make any mistakes. Like, we made so many mistakes in the last couple of years, and that's why we are in this situation. So now you cannot make any mistakes. So it needs to be planned up to perfection. It does. Let's move on to the next bit of news, and the next bit of news is Milinkovic Savic. Nico saying one thing, Giovanni saying a different thing. Nico saying he wants to leave. Giovanni also saying that. Nico saying Lazio don't want players, they want cash. Giovanni saying basically, yeah, maybe Sarri likes Rugani and blah blah blah. So maybe. I'm gonna stand with Nico and saying Lazio just want cash. It's up to us. Do we have 70 million cash in terms of can we pay it? Maybe long term spread. Yeah, I think you get him because he wants to join us. You don't have the cash.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Just move on.
Yeah.
If you don't have 70 million, don't waste time because Lotito's not going to say, yeah, I'll take 10 million now and give me the 60 million in 5 years' time. Lotito's not going to do that. If you don't have the money, or you're pretty sure we cannot sell players to fund that move, it's sad. It's frustrating because we all want him, but you need to move on. Don't waste any time. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, and I'm 100% with you on that one. And the thing is too, there's a report that Sarri might get sacked at the end of the year. There's a thing where Lotito isn't sure, and Sarri doesn't know if the club's going to commit to him, because Sarri has been kind of going at the board saying, hey, like, look, you got to give me players that I want, and Lotito's kind of like, well, I don't really care that much, just because we know Lazio's not an ambitious club. They're never going to really compete for anything. So the problem is if say that Sarri hypothetically steps down and leaves and the new coach likes SMS, then we're kind of SOL on that one. So right now it's tough to see Albanese's interview make sense, because we don't even know if Sarri's actually going to continue on being the coach, just because of some of the reports of the rift between him and the board of Lazio. So if he stays, then yeah, it's a really good opportunity for us to pick up SMS. But if he leaves, then it depends on what the new coach wants. And if the new coach wants him, we're not going to get him.
That's kind of disheartening to hear, though, because he left Napoli. If he leaves Lazio, like, what other type of team will he fit into appropriately? Like, what other team will let him just chew a cigarette on the sidelines?
Yeah, Sarri's not going to leave. He's going to stay, but they need the money because they struggle to improve. They need to improve that squad, and they need money to improve that squad. So, and Savic is allowed to leave in terms of they had an agreement, verbal agreement, but you need 70 mil.
I think that's gonna happen, though. I mean, I was thinking about this. They put 70 mil on De Ligt, 70 mil on Vlahovic.
It's a sign. The 70s.
Like, clearly they have the ability to put 70 mil on a player in any given year. And this is the position we need. I mean, you got the world-class defender. You have top 10 striker now. You know, wherever you rate him, he's up there. Where's the midfield? You need that link. We've been yelling about it. We all know we need that link. So if you have the 70 million, who cares? I mean, I hate that. I like good business deals. Everyone loves a good business deal. But you need to make this deal. You just need to spend the money, cut whatever losses you need to cut, move on. Not all your problems, you still got issues, but the biggest problem on your back, gone. Focus on everything else. Just do it.
I gotcha. So Allegri's burner account, if you're in the chat, make sure you listen to this one.
Yeah, like, he fits Allegri like a glove. Like, that's the main thing, you know. Like, if you don't get him, it's like, what now? And if you don't get him, the next man up, we will look at him, not his fault, unless it's Jorginho. We will look at him like, yeah, you're not Savic, you know. that's what it's gonna be. But at the moment, it's Savic or Jorginho. Those are the names, you know. So
Yeah.
There's no Chomini, Docs. There's no, I don't know, name. Just throw your names. There's nothing. It's those two. But like David said, it's only the start of May. So let's see.
Yeah, just let it ride out.
Oh, and De Jong says Sam, but I don't.
And and De Jong, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't buy that one.
Yeah, he's not. That one's not that concrete. And I mean, and what the other logistical one is Pogba, but that's been on whispers for like the last month and a half. So I honestly think the club is just going to put all their chips in for SMS.
Yeah, I think that's the main target at the moment. I struggle to believe it's Jorginho for so many reasons. I struggle to believe it, you know. Okay, then really quickly, Nico said that the club and Milan and Inter are looking at Koopmeiners from Atalanta, but Atalanta don't want to sell. Good.
I mean, where did that come from? Like that is completely.
He's a good player. He's a good player, but
he's a good depth player.
He didn't improve ever since he joined Atalanta, so he needs to kick on before he can move. So it's like, yeah, the club is monitoring him, but that's it. You know, you're not gonna bring in Koopmeiners. You know, it makes no sense. And in the saying, if something is going to happen, it's going to take ages. To be honest, if Lotito says we want 70 and Juve say we have 70, it can be done quickly. The problem is Lotito will say it's 70, Juve say we have 70, but we will pay it in 2030, something like that, something crazy. It will take 10 years. Or 5 years. No, I'm exaggerating. No, 5 years. I think I'm being realistic, but that's gonna be the issue, you know. And you know, saying isn't McKennie redundant if we get Savic? I think a lot of players are redundant anyway, no matter who we get.
Still, yeah, you need depth though. It's just a matter of who you retain, who you can offload more so, really.
That's and having McKennie off the bench too, if McKennie were to be open to that role, would be really good because he's a in the box threat. I mean, you can put a box and you can put a head to that. I mean, if he wasn't injured, I think he would have got 10 goals this season.
Yeah, I hope he stays. And speaking of 10 goals, that's how many Rabiot was supposed to score at the beginning of the season, according to Allegri. So, again, that just proves why we want McKennie more than overpriced Rabiot.
And Giuseppe saying it will be hard to deal with Lotito, which is 100% right. It will be hard. You know, it's gonna be almost impossible.
But he needs the money.
Yeah, but like
money talks, right?
Yeah,
If you throw 70 in front of Lotito, I don't think he's gonna say no. You can't have him.
Yeah, he needs to buy another Salernitana and take him up to Serie A. So he needs the money.
Yeah.
Again,
what a joker.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Consider joining the members club, like the two guys on the screen. So you can join live and you can call me out. You know, I don't know. Some people call me out in the comments. You can do it live.
Buy Ali a new mic, and maybe a new tracksuit to go with it.
No. just a new mic. I think that was the main news of the day. It's the same. Like it will really kick on at the end of the season. Like tomorrow, we play on Fridays. Tomorrow's a presser preview, but tomorrow's news, I can predict tomorrow's news. I can predict it. It's talks are gonna take place for us with already at the end of the month. Savic is now pushing for a move. The club is thinking about offering Di Maria the money. They have it, but they're still waiting. I can predict the news for tomorrow. So Justin, if you're watching, you can just record it straight away.
You got one more article too. It's from Gazzetta dello Sport. I think Dybala is going to sign for Inter. Okay. Oh wait, just kidding, guys.
Really quickly, because that was the first comment. Someone said we need to talk about Dybala. So that will be the last topic before we wrap it up because it's 1 a.m. almost. Not almost.
We can't go one video without Dybala.
I know. I saw that too when we were in the pre-live, and it was just like, oh, we should probably talk about this, huh?
So yesterday we ended the live. News came out. Dybala will sign for Inter. Today his agent came out saying Nah, he's focused on the last few games. I'm like, great statement, but I'm watching Dybala play. He's not. Like, don't 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 lie. Like, he's not. We see him play the last few games. He's not thinking about his last few games with Juve. Like, let's be honest here. And Romeo, someone DM'd Romeo today and said, like, is it true that he's joining Inter? And it's like, it's one of the options. Now, do I think he will join Inter? Not really. Do I think he's open to the idea? 100% sure. Why? Because that's Dybala. You know, he's not a guy that will take on the big challenge. Like, I'm sorry, he isn't. You can see it. Like, even when he wears the captain's armband, the captaincy, he's not a real captain. Joining Inter is the easy option. Like, it's the easiest option. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and say you don't need to do it. Do whatever you want. Like, you're free. I don't care. Like, I actually don't care. I've said it many times. I don't have the same feeling with Dybala like I have with other players, for some reason. So I'm not really angry. I see a lot of people being angry, disappointed because it's their player. He's joining Inter. So I don't really care. I'm not gonna lie.
We should almost want him to join Inter though, because of the amount of money they'll be out, the amount of injuries he'll have, and just they'll be wasting. It'll be a detriment to the team, kind of like he's a detriment to our team at this current moment. So take him. Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because the article said that, like, oh, Dybala agreed on a 6 million 4-year deal and to be the center of Inzaghi's project, where I'm thinking to myself, I'm like,
yeah,
how would Inzaghi just sit there and be like, all right, Lautaro, kick rocks, Chanaloglu, kick rocks, Perisic, kick rocks, like to me, Brozovic,
Handanovic,
yeah.
all those
well, I mean, Handanovic is leaving, so I believe
that's true.
Yeah. They actually got a pretty decent goalkeeper from Ajax. I forget. Onana, yeah. So they have Onana.
Onana's a good one. Yeah.
You're bantering me, right?
No, you didn't know that. So Handanovic is like, I believe Handanovic is leaving.
No, not. But that you rate Onana. That's banter, no?
No. I'm not. It's Inter. I mean, nobody's really rated over there.
He's absolutely shit. Like, let's be honest. He is Handanovic, but just younger. And much worse.
Okay, so he's good for Inter, is what we're saying.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Ornano's a world beater or anything like that. But I just the thing is, it's just the thought of that article, and it was a certain Instagram page that posted it. I won't say their name, but like I looked at it, I'm like, did you guys even vet this? Like, this makes no sense how Inzaghi could like even remotely consider that, because it's like I was reading it, and it's like. Because like normally when I wake up, I'm like, hey, I follow all the Italian news and all that on my Instagram. So I'm like scrolling through it and I see this specific page and I like look at it and I read it. And then I'm like reading the comments and the comments are absolutely gone loomy. And I'm like, okay, so it's Gazzetta. You know how much Gazzetta absolutely hates Juventus to the core. Like if Allegri or if Agnelli like took a crap in a dumpster, Gazzetta would be the first person to post it on their front page.
That's it.
But like and it's like you look at it and you read it and the thing is, like, originally I'm like, okay, yeah, so 6 million 4 years because Dybala found out that he's not worth that $8 million pay. But then promises to be the center of Inzaghi's project. I just completely lost my coffee. I was just laughing so hard.
It's weird. Really quickly, thanks Giuseppe for super chat. Saying small appreciation for the chat and feedback. I enjoy when you lead the chat. It's nice and chill. Have a good evening. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel because you're also a member, and have a good evening. And yeah, I try to involve the chat when I'm leading it as much as possible if it's on topic, because sometimes it's difficult.
Justin's comment: Julian and I are now unemployed. If anyone knows any Juventus-based YouTube channels hiring, please let us know.
They're lying.
Justin, don't you have a house to like just creep on, just sitting there eating donuts at the side of the road with your binoculars? Like, what are you doing here?
Justin said he's out, and Julian texted me before the live saying I'm not coming on. So, but yeah, they're close to getting sacked. It is what it is.
He just said we got Dybala. Julian's like, we just got Dybala.
We offered you to be the center of the project, but you were asking for too much money.
It's just the Wi-Fi injuries were just too critical for this project, Julian. So we decided to do a 180 and pick up Davide Vlahovic and Dashimir Zakaria.
There you go. Well, at least I'm the handsome Serb. Thank you for that one.
I will ask you the simple question, straightforward. If he joins, like, okay, no, I will ask you both the first question, simple yes or no. Is Dybala a Juve legend at the moment? Don't forget about the Inter thing.
No, I'm easy. I'm done.
No.
Nope.
No, I mean, forget about the Inter thing. Like, let's say he joins Atletico.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't care.
No, like even if he went to anyone else, like even if he decided to go to Boyka Juniors, I still wouldn't even consider him a Juve legend. Like I'm sorry, it's just he's just that guy that was there.
Okay, so my next question is useless. It's pointless. Okay, that's fair. Because a lot of people view him as a legend, and they're like, if he joins, he's not. He's done.
He was a generational talent. So I mean, if you're probably say 25 plus or minus a few years, and that's what you grew up with, I get that. He's your generation. You don't necessarily know what came before, just like we don't know what came before our generation and so on. So in terms of what you know of what's generational and what's the legend, I mean, it can make sense from a certain perspective. That being said, if you're like 50 and you've seen all the actual legends and you're calling Dybala a legend, I'm going to question you a little bit in that sense.
And I mean, really quickly, I mean saying watch him go the whole season without injuries with Inter. Well, then
yeah, because he's not playing, Hanin. That's why. No. But the Dybala thing, and this you'll probably relate to this a lot more, Alejandro, because you're a Steelers fan. But like, look at it as Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. So like, those guys were generational players on the Steelers. They never really accomplished anything, and then they left and did absolutely nothing.
I agree, but like the way they left, like that. That was
I mean, Bell and Dybala are almost the same. They both wanted more money, thought that they were better, and then Le'Veon Bell went to the Jets and absolutely stunk, and now is like a practice squad player.
He is, but like Brown is like, I think he has concussions nobody knows about, something like that.
Well, yeah, I think the linebacker of the Cincinnati Bengals absolutely knocked his screws with his head.
He has done.
Dybala's a third-tier legend. I like that.
I'm not too fussed about it. Like, if he joins Inter, it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh my god, what have we done? Because I rate Dybala. I think he's a good player on his day, but we've not seen that day for 2 years now, almost, like a few times here and there. But that's not good enough. But it depends on who you're gonna replace him with. Like, that's the biggest issue. Like, the club made a decision. They need to live with it now. They need to back it up, and not say, we made a decision, and now, who knows what will happen. Let's see. That cannot happen.
And the thing is, guys, it's like, and I said this in our members chat this morning when we were talking about it. I'm like, Dybala is so slow when he runs, guys. Like he doesn't, because the thing is like what I kind of think that Dybala tried doing is like he tried to match Messi's like right wing / center attacking midfield hybrid where he drops deep and then dribbles past guys. But the difference is Messi has a very explosive first touch where he can just absolutely explode off the line, where Dybala, like, he's so slow. Like he'll cut through one guy, like make a half chance out of it and absolutely get creamed by the next guy coming in. Whereas like Messi's really sturdy, where he is very difficult to tackle. Like, you have to put in everything in your body to like tackle Messi. And I think that like Dybala kind of tried to copy it or mimic it per se, but the thing is he just doesn't have the speed for it. And even with like I think it was Hanin that told me in the chat that he could play in Inzaghi's system as a second striker, but like even with us, like right now as a 4-4-2, like he does not play close to Vlahovic or Morata whatsoever. Like he goes off and does his own thing, which kind of defeats the purpose of being a second striker. So like if he were to stick around 5 to 10 meters close to Vlahovic or Morata, then he'd be really, really good as far as being that second striker to take the almost kind of like a Lukaku-Lautaro parallel from last season, because that's honestly how it works, because Lautaro doesn't have any amazing speed or anything significant about him. It's just literally Lukaku would stand there, head the ball to him. Lautaro would then either A, slot the ball to the winger, or B, pass it back to Lukaku to start the attack. Whereas like Dybala, like the second the ball gets sent out to Vlahovic, like Dybala has like that error 404 message in his head, and then just for some reason goes out and hugs the right side of the field and just drops in deep. Like we saw it in the Villarreal game too. Like, dude, like why are you this deep? And I remember Allegri used to complain about this back before he left the club when Ronaldo came in. He's like, Dybala, you need to stay center. Like, stop dropping way too deep. And Dybala's like, well, Dybala does whatever Dybala wants. And I think that's what's kind of messed with him. I honestly think it's a little bit of ego and also just something after that because you guys remember the 2017-2018 season where he started off with like 12 goals in the first half of the year.
Yeah.
So like I remember the hat trick against the Swallow, and then some reason because like I remember Nedved and Allegri were going on interviews at that time saying that, hey, Dybala needs to get his head sorted out because he had like some mental issues. Because I remember he was dating, I forgot the girl's name, but he wasn't the current girlfriend that he has now, but it was a different one. And they broke up around, I believe it was like December. And then Dybala absolutely stunk from January until the second leg of the Tottenham game of that season. And I remember Nedved and Allegri were like, hey, he needs to step up. Like you can Google the interviews and stuff, but yeah, something happened in between that and then when Ronaldo came to the club, I think it just absolutely buried Dybala mentally, and he just never came back from it.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that season. It's I don't know. Like I see because Andrew Film, like he's a fan for a few years, so I get it for him. It's different. But for me, it's not. It's like I'm over with it. It's just now, how are we going to replace him? Like, is it gonna be a decent replacement, or is it gonna be a crappy one? Just patching up.
Raspadori, apparently.
But yeah, like because Hanin made a comment earlier saying if you play 4-3-3, what's the point of getting Raspadori? I think he's not a Dybala replacement. I think he will be replacing Keane or Morata.
Yeah, it'd be Keane. And that's why I'm saying, like, relax with this whole, transfer thing for a couple weeks, because we have to actually make sure that Morata's leaving before Keane's leaving, before we're even able to make these moves. It's exactly that. Is Keane actually going to go to PSG? Is Everton going to allow this sale? Who knows?
No, I'm sure if PSG gives Everton 30 million at least, and I'm sure PSG will.
Sure, but it has to happen.
No, I agree with you. I'm not gonna debate that, but yeah, I think that one's for sure. But and then also, Hanin is Raspadori. Also, his secondary position is on the left wing. So like in his youth system, as well as him, I believe it was in the under 21s for Italy. He's been able to migrate to the left wing as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna wrap it up quickly because it's getting very late. I need to wake up very early. So blame Real Madrid. Don't blame me today. But before we wrap it up, I wanted to ask a quick question, and it's on Bernardeschi. It's really quick. It's actually I think it's a good question because Nico Schira. Yeah, it's like it depends on you guys. You can answer it quickly because Nico is saying he's ready. He's set to leave as a free agent. He said Lazio are interested in him, but I've offered them only 1.6 million euros, and also Galatasaray are inquiring for him. So let's say he says to the club, I want to say I'll take 2 million, including bonuses, everything, nothing more. It's 2 up to the max if I hit the bonuses. No idea what the bonuses are. It's not going to be scoring goals or assisting because he's never going to reach that. But let's say it's 2 max if he reaches his bonus. What do you say if you're Arriva Bene?
No.
On principle, you have to say no.
No, it's just you have at least 4 to 5 years of film to even evaluate it. Where it's like he doesn't bring any value. I guess if we have no other options, and there's no way he takes a 1.6 million deal with us. I mean, that's just what Lazio is offering him. If we were to, he's going to sit there and be like, no, bump it up to 2 or 2.5. But I don't see it, because the thing is like, even as a role player, he's terrible. Like for me, like I buried Bernadeschi in the Lyon game where he tried to walk the ball into the net instead of tapping it, because that would have put us through to the next round. So like for me, I have a personal vendetta against that guy. So sorry guys, I'm a little bit biased here, but like there's nothing to offer. Like I'd rather keep Moise Kean than Federico Bernadeschi. Like that's how much below I rate Bernadeschi. Like the guy just, it was a bad pickup by Morata. Just move on. Just let it go. We just let it walk. I just don't want to see that name, that jersey number. I don't want to see him trip over. I thought Storaro was bad, but Bernadeschi topped the cake, because Bernadeschi trips over the ball or his own dribbles. Like I remember Storaro doing that, and I kind of chuckled, but like Bernadeschi does it at least once or twice a game.
I just don't know why you had to drag Moise through the mud with that one.
He's like one of those new gen players, and like for me, if there's a report that a player has an attitude issue, I automatically lose value for that player. So I
got to keep my credibility of a
I get you. No, I get you, and that's why I always troll Justin with Zaniolo and call him Little Z instead of Big Z, is because like Zaniolo has attitude issues as well. So it's like for me, I don't like players with the lack of hunger per se, because Juventus isn't a club. It isn't a vacation home. Like you come in here, you're expected to work, you're expected to grind, you're expected to give it all your best. If you have attitude issues, like and I think Arthur also falls into that boat as well, and even Dani Alves, because it just he was a great player, but it's just the mentality that we have at the club isn't for all players. So it's like I just don't like the attitude players, the players that just don't have the attitude or the grit for it. So for me, it's like it's Bernadeschi, it's Moise Kean, it's Arthur. The verdict's still out on Rabiot, but like
depends on the day. Depends what his mother tells him.
Yeah, it depends if his mom tells him to play, or like
a lot like Julian. That's why he's not on tonight. His mom didn't allow him to go.
Yeah,
didn't give him his internet.
But I see Justin in the chat. Justin, check your WhatsApp. I texted you, and it's kind of urgent. By the way, so it's a no. Yeah, it's urgent. I see him in the chat, but
I'm just on YouTube telling you to check your phone.
Yeah, right. I know that's hilarious. It's like whenever you get a text from someone, you're just like, I'll respond to that later. Then you just meet them in person. Hey man, so I texted you like 15 minutes ago.
Hey, he's ghosting.
So Justin, we love you, but that's a big L right there.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say. Okay, so it's a no. So yeah, you both can come on again, because if somebody said yes, you were done for me on the stream, on the live. Guys, we're gonna wrap it up because it's very late for me, and we talked about all the news basically. That was the news of the day. So I'm gonna thank everybody in the chat for watching, liking the video. If you haven't liked, thanking the members for supporting the channel, the guys with the super chat, also the guys who are not members, just watching the live and liking it. It's also good. It's helping us out. I'm gonna thank Davide and Dash for coming on again.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, guys. Hit that like button. Enough likes will help Little Z evolve to a Big Z. So we got to get those experience likes up.
Yeah, and definitely consider joining the Discord, because it's getting fun in there too. If more people are joining, it's getting real hot.
It's gonna soon be the YouTube banter chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
trademark it.
I think I need to make a new one just for football talk soon. But yeah, consider joining the members club. Justin, still, once again, check your WhatsApp. Tomorrow, it depends, because that's why Justin needs to check the WhatsApp. Not sure if there will be a preview. If there's not going to be a preview tomorrow, it's going to be on Friday, so on game day. So I need to check. If there's no preview tomorrow, it's going to be a regular live. And the preview is on Friday then. Friday midday something. Let's see. For that, if you haven't checked Justin's video, do that after the live. Again, like, subscribe, all that fancy, boring stuff. Julian is saying watch along Friday. Yeah, if you have the Wi-Fi. So apparently Julian is doing a watch along if he has a Wi-Fi. Let's see. So stay tuned for that. So thanks everybody for watching, and then we will see you back tomorrow.